This research paper, titled Comparing Large Language Models and Traditional Machine Translation Tools for Translating Medical Consultation Summaries, a pilot study, was authored by Andy Lee, Wei Zhou, Rashina Hoda, Chris Bain, and Peter Poon from Monash University in Australia. The study investigates how well large language models and traditional machine translation tools perform when translating medical consultation summaries from English into three common languages spoken in Australia besides English: Arabic, Simplified Chinese, and Vietnamese. The researchers focused on evaluating translation quality across these languages and different levels of text complexity, with an eye toward practical use in healthcare. They created two types of simulated medical summaries: a simple one written in everyday language for patients, and a more complex one designed for clinicians, which includes medical jargon. These summaries were then translated using three large language models: GPT-4o, LLAMA 3.1, and Gemma 2, and three traditional machine translation tools: Google Translate, Microsoft Bing Translator, and DeepL. To assess the translations, the team compared them against professional translations done by third-party interpreters. They used standard automated metrics like BLEU, CHR-F, and Meteor, which measure how closely the machine translations match the professional ones in terms of accuracy, fluency, and meaning. In their results, the performance of the tools varied depending on the language, the type of model, and the complexity of the summary. For the simple patient-oriented summaries, Vietnamese and Chinese translations generally scored higher, suggesting that these languages benefited from the straightforward language. Interestingly, Arabic translations performed better on the complex clinician-oriented summaries, possibly because Arabic's richer morphological structure helped in handling detailed medical terms. Overall, traditional machine translation tools like Google Translate and DeepL tended to outperform the large language models on surface-level metrics, especially for the more complex texts. However, some large language models, particularly in Vietnamese and Chinese, achieved scores that were comparable or even superior on the Meteor metric, which considers semantic meaning more deeply. The study noted that Chinese translations showed the most significant drop in quality when moving from simple to complex summaries, highlighting challenges with handling intricate medical vocabulary. In contrast, large language models demonstrated potential for languages like Vietnamese, which are considered under-resourced in terms of available translation data, but their results were inconsistent across different contexts. The researchers concluded that while traditional machine translation tools provide stronger alignment with exact wording, large language models offer more flexibility in capturing context and overall meaning. However, they pointed out that current automated metrics aren't fully adequate for evaluating clinical translations, as they don't capture nuances like medical accuracy or cultural sensitivity. This underscores the need for specialized evaluation methods and always involving human oversight to ensure safe and responsible use of AI in healthcare. Looking ahead, the paper suggests future improvements could include fine-tuning large language models with specific medical datasets to boost their performance. They also recommend developing new metrics that prioritize safety and clinical relevance, and incorporating human-in-the-loop systems where experts review and refine translations. In the introduction, the authors provide background on the rapid evolution of machine translation. Traditional tools, based on neural networks and large parallel datasets, work well for languages with plenty of digital resources but struggle with specialized fields like medicine, where precise terminology is crucial. Large language models, trained on vast and diverse data, excel at understanding broader contexts and maintaining semantic intent across languages, making them promising for tasks like document-level translation. Previous studies mentioned in the paper show that large language models can sometimes outperform traditional tools by preserving coherence and even estimating translation quality on their own. Despite this, applying these models to medical translation is still a new area with challenges, such as ensuring accuracy in high-stakes healthcare scenarios. The methods section details how the researchers simulated the summaries to mimic real-world medical consultations. For the simple summary, they used plain language to describe a patient's condition and advice, while the complex one included professional jargon, abbreviations, and interprofessional communication elements. Translations were generated systematically, and evaluations were conducted blindly to avoid bias. Delving deeper into the results, the paper breaks down scores by language and tool. For Arabic, the complex summaries performance edge might stem from the language's grammatical features, which allow for more nuanced expression of medical concepts. In Vietnamese and Chinese, large language models showed strengths in simpler texts, possibly due to their ability to handle contextual cues effectively in these languages. The discussion emphasizes that while large language models have advantages in flexibility, traditional tools remain reliable for routine translations. The inconsistency in large language models highlights the importance of testing them in specific domains before widespread adoption. Finally, the paper stresses the ethical considerations of using AI for medical translations, advocating for responsible practices like domain-specific training and hybrid approaches that combine AI with human expertise to mitigate risks in healthcare settings. This pilot study sets the stage for more comprehensive research into AI-driven translation tools tailored to medical needs.